In Standard 1, we'll learn how to evaluate expressions. Before we can do that, we have to have some vocabulary. A variable is a letter that stands for a number. An expression is a math phrase with variables, numbers, and operation symbols. Operation symbols are add, subtract, multiply, divide, and so on. And evaluate means to find the value of. So you typically substitute a number in place of a variable and go ahead and do the math. So let's try one. Here's an expression, 3x minus 4. And I'm going to evaluate this if x equals 6. So I'll substitute 6 in place of x. 3 times 6 minus 4. 3 times 6 is 18. And then 18 minus 4 is 14. You can evaluate this for more than one value of the variable. Let's try a negative. Let's try x equals negative 1. That's going to give us 3 times negative 1 minus 4. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3 minus 4. And in this class, you're going to need to know how to add and subtract with positive and negative numbers. So typically when we subtract, we turn it into adding the opposite. And negative 3 plus negative 4 will be negative 7. Since the numbers are both negative, you add the 3 and the 4, and then you make your final answer into negative 7. We're also going to need to be able to work with fractions. So let's try making x into a fraction. Let's say x equals 1/4. So that's going to give us 3 times 1/4 minus 4. 3 you can turn into 3 over 1. Then multiply across the numerators. 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 4 is 4. And I'll subtract 4. In order to subtract, you're going to need a common denominator. So I'm going to have to figure out how many fourths 4 is. First I'll turn that into 4 over 1. So I multiply that times 4, so I get 4 on the bottom. If I multiply the denominator by 4, I also have to multiply the numerator by 4. So this is 3/4 minus 16/4. 3 minus 16, so I'll turn that into adding the opposite again. 3 plus negative 16 is negative 13. Since the signs are different, you subtract the 3 from the 16, and the answer comes out negative because 16 is a bigger number than 3. And you leave the fourths. So there's the answer to that one. When you're evaluating expressions, often you need to decide which operation you're going to do first, and there is a defined order for that. The typical order of operations phrase is PEMDAS. That helps you to understand that parentheses come first, then E for exponents. Multiplying and dividing come after exponents, but they're both at the same level. So when you see multiplying and dividing next to each other, you just do them in order, left to right. It doesn't mean multiplying comes before dividing. And then addition and subtraction come after multiplying and dividing. And same deal with the order. When you see addition and subtraction, you just go across left to right. Subtraction could come before addition if it appears first in your list of operations. So let's do some practice with that. Here's a nice long expression with a bunch of different operations. So first, I would do parentheses, but I don't see any. So I'll start with the exponents. I'll start with 3 to the second power. So this turns into 15 minus 6 divided by 2 times 3 plus 4 times 9. Let's make that into a 3. Next, I will do the multiplying and dividing, except I'm going to do those left to right. So I'll do 15 minus, now this is confusing. Sometimes people think they should do the 2 times 3 first, because multiplying comes before dividing. But no, just go across left to right. So 6 divided by 2 is 3 times 3, plus, and multiplying comes before adding, so I'm going to do 4 times 9 and get 36. So going across again, 15 minus, I'll do the multiplying now, 9 plus 36. 15 minus 9 is 6. So 6 plus 36 equals 42, and that's the final answer for that one. Now let's do one with some parentheses in it. So you can change the order you do stuff if you put these grouping symbols in. The square brackets come first, so I'm going to do 15 minus this whole thing, and I'll do what's inside it. So 15 minus, so inside here I have 6 divided by, now the parentheses mean this time I multiply 2 times 3 first, plus 4 times 9 again. So I have 15 minus, and I'll keep dealing with everything in the square part. 6 divided by 6 is 1, plus 4 times 9 is 36. So I have 15 minus 37, turning that into adding the opposite. So I'll take 15 away from 37 and get 22, and then make the answer negative because 37 is bigger than 15. Sometimes expressions will have more than one variable in them. So for this expression, I'm going to make x2, and I'm going to make y3, and go ahead and do the math. So I have 3 times 2 minus 4 times 2 times 3 all over 2 plus 3. The fraction bar sort of acts like a parentheses in order of operations. I'm going to do everything in the numerator and everything in the denominator, and then I'll divide them after I get them all worked out. So on the top, I have 3 times 2, which is 6, minus 4 times 2 is 8, times 3, 24, over 5. Make that into adding the opposite, so that's going to turn into negative 18 in the numerator. On the bottom, I keep the 5, and that's the answer to that one.